Now, there is no doubt about it that many Hollywood celebrities out there feel the need to push their political views, their political agenda, especially their anti-Trump messaging campaign. And whether you're for or against Trump, it doesn't matter. A lot of people are just very tired and exhausted of it all, to the point that they will no longer support their work. That's exactly why a lot of studios are making very bold and tough decisions on their end to either axe or fire some of these actors or blacklist them from future projects and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one of which has a lot to do with Tom Hanks. Alright, this is another big recognizable name out there that is obviously doubling down on his political views and getting worse as the months roll by, as we inch closer to the midterms of 2026. Now, one thing about Hollywood right now is that they do believe that they are able to use their overall platform, their followers, their fans, if you will, to use that as a political thing, and that's exactly what's turning off a lot of people, right? Where the actors should really just focus on their own work, focus on entertaining others, period, the end. However, Tom Hanks seemingly has a very big problem with the recent Joe Biden twist and the recent drama surrounding or revolving around the whole autopen thing that Trump actually just announced, that all orders made by Biden that were actually used by the autopen will be canceled, and a lot of celebrities are getting bent out of shape about that. Now, what's interesting about this, yet again, is that yes, we do know that Tom Hanks, for those of you that do not know, he is indeed a dual citizen. He spends tons of time in Greece and looks at the state of the United States, and he just constantly rants about the state of the country. However, with tons of Hollywood celebrities still engaging and pushing their political agenda onto the public and even the fans, which of course is damaging their studios that they represent, one major development going on now involves more to do with actor Tom Hanks, who decided to respond to the recent Joe Biden drama that recently went viral across social media and mainstream media. Now, Hanks delivered the following in a very defensive and aggressive way to the people. As a dual citizen, I am ashamed, just ashamed to see what our country is turning into. This is not what the United States used to be like exactly 1 year ago under President Biden. And speaking of Biden, who does this man Donald Trump think he is, and his simple-minded supporters that clearly are not grasping onto any level of common sense? We are now living in a very scary time under Trump's presidency, to the point that he feels it's okay to label all of Joe Biden's orders as canceled, since he claims that they were used via the autopen. How more delusional can you get than President Trump and his supporters? It boggles my mind that so many Americans are not questioning this. Then again, it doesn't surprise me anymore, since the sad truth is that more than half of Americans don't really have the education that they need to truly understand what's going on in politics. And that's what Trump wants. He wants the people to be gullible and welcoming to every single policy and order that he puts out there. This is how a king and a cult act. What Trump is doing right now to President Biden is the very example of an authoritarian president. We are inching closer to living in a reality like a science fiction book, where we will no longer have any control over the government. And this is what Trump wants. I have no doubt in my mind that he will find ways around the laws to grab onto a third term. Now guys, let me just stop right there for one moment about what Tom Hanks is spewing here now. They keep trying to gaslight the people by saying Trump's going to seek a third term. Trump's going to actually try to, stay as president forever and ever. I think that's just... He's one to say that some people out there are delusional. I think that he's delusional in that case, by actually believing in the fact that Trump is actually going to seek a third term. Now, look, the thing about Tom Hanks right now is that could be gaslighting for sure. He could just be saying that to really just get people a lot of, anger built within them. Who knows? But, one thing about Tom Hanks is that he obviously takes the whole Trump thing very personally. He even admitted that the only reason why he did the Trump supporter SNL skit is that he took it very personally. He wanted to mock them openly on live television. And it wasn't just a paycheck, it wasn't just a contract deal. He continues, "Mark my words, this will happen. But what Trump is doing to Biden is a disgraceful act to who, in my mind, was the best president of our time, Tom Hanks says. Joe Biden contributing so much to this country and doesn't deserve the hate and criticism that he received over the years. The majority of that was fueled by lies from Trump and the MAGA group that clearly only know how to bully others. And that's exactly what Trump is, a bully. I wake up every morning worrying about my country and where it's heading. I always find myself in a state of nervousness knowing that Trump is up to something and questioning what he will do next. This is Trump after all. He silenced the media, he is silencing the people, and to make no mistake here, he will silence his own supporters if they ever have the courage to speak up for themselves, which they don't. This is a terrible time to live in right now. So what Joe Biden, of course, used, so what if he used the autopen? It has nothing to do with proof that he was incapable of serving as president. So again, there's Tom Hanks, and before I move on, let me just say one thing about Tom Hanks here, is that he's obviously taking the whole subject surrounding the autopen very seriously, very personally from what it sounds like. It sounds like Tom Hanks is very angry about what's going on right now, and look, we know that a lot of Hollywood celebrities are grouping together to really display their overall feelings about what Trump really recently announced about, canceling those orders that were used via the autopen by Joe Biden. And that's one thing. But it's another thing for a lot of celebrities to just keep doubling down on this. And what's interesting to me, though, is that the fact that they are trying to defend Joe Biden is actually just outright crazy. The fact that they're trying to actually defend the use or the overuse of the autopen, which we all know that Joe Biden used this several times, many, many times. It's actually on record. And we all know that this is actually going to backfire on a lot of actors out there because, look, they're dividing their audience, they're alienating their fan base, and that's exactly why a lot of studios are putting their hands up and saying, we don't want to deal with you guys anymore. We got to look for new talent that's really apolitical and they just want to focus on their own work, period, the end. Now, he goes on to close, many Americans need to get with the program already that Trump is a child, and this is the same man that put up a picture of the autopen as Joe Biden in the White House. What kind of sick mind thinks like that? And that's how Tom Hanks ended his little rant about the whole Joe Biden twist that went down and how Trump announced that and is pushing forward to actually cancel those overall orders made by Joe Biden that used the autopen. Alright, now this is a very interesting turn of events because we have a lot more actors coming out again now, and it seems like it's becoming more of a frequent thing, and I think that you're going to see this more frequently as we inch closer and closer to the 2026 midterms, alright? So that's exactly why you have a lot of them speaking up, pushing their anti-Trump rhetoric, their anti-Trump messaging campaign. And Jennifer Lawrence, I think that actress Jennifer Lawrence put it best, and even though I really do not agree with her overall view at all, but we know one thing about Lawrence right now, is that she actually said that celebrities, in the grand scheme of things, they don't really have a major, impact on who, of course, votes for who in, an actual election. And that's true. Nobody really listens to celebrities. Nobody wants to listen to celebrities. And that's the major mistake that they made in 2024 and how it cost them their careers. It cost them opportunities. It even cost them their own fans. That's exactly what the state, Robert De Niro is in right now, or George Clooney, or Julia Roberts, and more. But I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.